looting, that don't care, the people who have tendencies of wanting to commit crimes, they'll say, oh, what are you going to do? Put me in prison? Oh, well, I'm going to die anyway, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, those are all good points. And, even former astronaut Rusty Schweigert from the lunar module pilot from Apollo 9, he's come out recently wanting more international commitment to protect Earth from these killer asteroids. And that's what we really need to look out for these things. We got Hubble and all these other big scopes out there looking at stuff. Maybe we need one to look for these asteroids or comets, because they do sneak in, especially if they're coming on the sun's side. Like you mentioned, Gary, there's been a couple that came close nearby. We didn't even know till they was right on us. Yeah,
they told us the night before or after. I like the ones where you go on the internet and you, oh, hey, there was a life ending asteroid that just passed Earth last night at 12:00 whatever, okay? I love those. Gee.
Yeah, and how about the one they said it was going to miss and it ended up hitting in the, Mediterranean or something you reported on a few months ago?
Yeah, a month and a half ago. They said, oh, it's going to pass Earth in between the Earth and the moon. There's nothing to worry about. What did it did? It hit the Mediterranean Ocean. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I think they miscalculated that one. So do you trust what they even say?
Exactly. And what if that was been the size of, I don't know, Manhattan or something big enough that would have caused an Ellie event or something close to it where you got a nuclear winter for about 4 years or 10 years like the other thing.
Or you're living where you're at and you're washed out to sea.
Exactly. And then you get all the disease and lack of food, everything's shut down. It all pans to the same scenario, same situation. And it's another thing, like the grid system. It should be something that, maybe some money should be allocated to try to detect these things and what we can do to either deflect them or do something.
Well, I don't know. That's the whole thing with politics. I don't understand these people. I just don't. I don't understand why we have the wall. I don't understand why. I mean, I can see that we want to go out in space. Okay, because that's been the men's dream, for all, to going back above the cavemen. They look at the stars and they want to go, I want to go there. I want to go there. Okay, yeah, we want to go there. But we're not really ready to go to Mars. So until our technology catches up with, to actually do it right, we shouldn't be dumping that much money into it. You try to tell me $1 billion here, $1 billion there, going into our grid system wouldn't start helping it a little bit?
Oh, I think it would, definitely.
Well, Sam, what do you think?
I mean, that's the reasonable thing to do. But like I said, what defies logic is why they don't do it. And there is also something that comes to mind that there's a lot of people out there that don't like our democracy, don't like what America stands for sometimes. And I think we got some forces with it, and that's getting conspiratorial a little bit. But I think that there are those could care less that if something like that happens in our country, and maybe they think it's going to be very specific to our country, that we get wiped out because of it. But I don't see that necessarily fully the case, because when you look at the entire world, what are they doing to protect the grid system?
Nothing.
We always focus on the United States, but nobody is making a concerted effort to shore up the system. They're so divided in their politics, and it's so mealy-minded in a lot of ways when you think about the bigger picture.
Well, I guess the bigger picture is we like enjoying going into other countries and going and putting troops there. We like doing this. We like doing that. But like I always say, we need to think about ourselves. I honestly don't care about Moscow, Idaho. I mean, Russia. I care about us. Okay. I sometimes don't care about Washington, D.C. I'm going to be blunt with that because those guys are buffoons. Like I always used to, when one radio station I was at, I got in trouble for saying this, but I had this little skit. I play the news background and I go, Washington, D.C. just was invaded by UFOs. We hear that these aliens abduct humans and eat brains. But don't worry, folks. They abducted politicians out of the White House. So they're going to starve to death within a matter of hours.
Malnutrition. Poor guys.
No brains.
Good. The ironic part that all the politicians, they're going to be out of work and jobs if all this happens. If a comet hits, or if there is a solar flare, things are going to shut down. Government's going to shut down. That's a guarantee. Whether they're going to stow away in a cave somewhere in a mountain,
I think some will. I think some people, the elite, the people that high up in the government, will be able to have a nice bed. They'll have their they'll have their chefs cooking food for these elite people, and politicians and high business people, okay, because they'll be needed again to get the world going again after the disaster. So there'll be thousands and tens of thousands of those people while we pay the price. But do you think they're going to tell us? If they won't even be honest about Roswell to us, you think they're going to tell us about, hey, maybe down the road there is an asteroid coming, because they know some of these asteroids only come by every 10 years, every year, every 100 year cycle. Maybe there's a big one. And they're just not telling us because they figure we can't handle it. Again, society would break down. I think it would. If all the news got on right now and said an asteroid is going to hit, and it's nothing we can do about it, it's time to go make peace with your family and go seek God. How many people would be shitting their drawers?
Exactly. Just like that one movie, the same scenario. Government didn't say nothing until last week, and they knew for a year.
That's what scares me. I think about Reagan, and I love the guy. But and a lot of people don't remember this, but he had like a little doomsday thing because tension with Russia, the Soviet Union at times, ran pretty high. It really did. And he had like a little doomsday type of thing, just in case missiles came flying from the Soviet Union and you couldn't make it to a fallout shelter. He told people to dig about a 6-foot hole, roughly. Now, it could be off. It could have been 8 foot deep. And take a door off of your house and then lay it above the hole and put 3 feet of dirt on, because that 3 feet of dirt will filter out some of the radiation. And they did this thing. And then I started thinking afterwards, okay, well, they're digging you a hole 6 to 8 feet down. You're putting 3 feet of dirt on top of you. Okay, well, that's a good way.
It doesn't sound good, does it?
Yeah. How long can you live in a hole like that with like 2 or 3 family members before you run out of air anyway?
Hours.
Or less.
What do you think, Sam? You going to get in a hole?
How long? Yeah. How long would you live? Because maybe they're thinking of the initial blast or the initial whatever, but by that time the radiation is covering everything anyway at that point, so you're going to have to crawl out of the hole and you're still going to get radiated because it's everywhere. And it's just not going to all of a sudden disappear.
Well, you guys
There's a movie.
You didn't get the meaning, though, what I was saying.
Oh, I didn't?
Okay, the thing is, I was talking about asteroids. So, basically, if they tell you an asteroid's going to hit, they tell you dig a hole and put a bunch of dirt over it to protect yourself. You can figure out, it saves FEMA a lot of work, whoever survives, they happen to bury all the bodies.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not if it's a direct hit. Yeah, even if it's not nearby, it's going to be a problem. And maybe you might get buried some more, because by the time the asteroid hits the Earth and throws up all that dirt, you might be covered by hundreds of feet of dirt and rock. So you're basically, maybe Reagan was alluding to, we might as well, a pre-burial, put yourself in this situation. You're not going to survive that. I don't even know why. Sometimes this almost as ludicrous as what they told people. I missed that mark on that radiation thing, but when it did come to radiation, when they were doing all the nuclear tests, remember back in the 50s and 60s, I think they stopped it in the 60s. This is, if there was a nuclear bomb that was going to happen, it had all the kids get under their desk. Now, what's that going to do for you?
I got news for you. We was doing that in grade school in the 70s, and I used to think the same thing. Even as a youngster, I'd be like, "What? How's this going to protect? How is this going to protect me from what I've seen? If that's going to protect us, then what are we worried about? We all should just get a desk and go home, get under it. It's ridiculous."
Totally.
Well, they do that for one reason. It give assurance to the population that maybe they could survive, and that's what that whole was. That to go underneath your desk and all that stuff to reinsure the population that they could survive, and many of them would survive. If they sit there and said, "Hey, a bomb's going to go off near you," why don't you just look out the window and watch it till it gets too hot? I mean, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
Hey, put your hand up in front of your face, and watch your skin burn off and your bones burn off. And hey, come on. It's
right.
Ludicrous. It's crazy, asinine.
Yeah, because you ever see the pictures of Okinawa and Hiroshima where it disintegrated some of the people that their shadows is implanted on some of the brick walls and stuff. It's bizarre.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on. But an asteroid hitting us would be equal to that, or if not more, depending on the size of it. So just think about that. So, I mean, the heat it would generate, the explosion, the concussion. I mean, look what happened in Russia back in the early 1900s. Wasn't it over 100 square miles of timber was just like disintegrated, gone? I mean, if that happened here, and you had one about the same size and it hit Seattle, what Seattle?
Yeah, it would cease to exist. Be gone.
I don't know. I don't want to sound doomsday and stuff like that. But I mean, all I'm saying is we need to be spending the money the right places, and we don't seem to be doing it.
I agree totally. I mean, like you touched on, some of these things have a 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 year orbit around us, and each time it comes around, it could either be closer or farther away. We don't know, and it's not a matter of when; it's if, or not if, but when.
Yeah, and one of these days it's going to happen. And even if it happened in New York, our grid system would be out on the West Coast. I mean, it'd be a big surge and it'd be gone. That's the whole point. We need to, if we even survived at something, of a asteroid hitting, and believe it or not, an asteroid hitting a major city could take out the grid system across the country. And it's not the same as a EMTI or whatever, okay? The thing is, it will do one thing. If you shut the grid system off all in the country at one time, I read the odds are getting it back up and running is almost impossible.
Oh, wow. That's scary, too. I don't doubt that either.
It's just like my radio station here at my studio. I mean, all it takes is one wire, and I couldn't talk.
Yeah, perfect example. On a smaller scale, took a half hour to get that going. So times that on the whole world or a big city, yeah, it's going to take, you're talking days, maybe a year or more.
Oh, yeah. Well, tomorrow we got Terry Lovelace on. And James, you got about 30 seconds. Why don't you tell the listeners about Terry Lovelace?
Oh, my goodness. His story is mind-blowing. He was in the military, went on a vacation, him and his friend, down to Devil's Den. They got abducted. They didn't even realize what was happening. They got the military came in, and while he was in the hospital, give him sodium pentothal, and they learned all kinds of things about abduction. It's mind-blowing. This is one story interview you do not want to miss. Plus, he's going to tell stuff he's never told nobody ever before until tomorrow night on Night Dreams Talk Radio. Yeah.
So you do not want to miss it. He'll be on from 7 to 8:30 and maybe even 9 o'clock. I told him that, if it goes for 2 hours, that is fine because he has a lot to say. And you know what? That's the whole point of the show. A lot of things to say.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
Well, hey, guys, till later, you stay out of trouble and, Don't worry about an asteroid tonight or a hit with our grid system.